Join me as I dive into the world of parenting and try to identify what bad parenting really looks like. Can I spot the signs? Bad parenting, a term often thrown around, but have you ever stopped to think about what it really means? I mean, we all know someone who's had a bad parent, or maybe we've even been guilty of it ourselves at some point. But what does it truly entail? And why is it so crucial that we understand it in order to be better parents ourselves? One common misconception about parenting is that it's always intentional, that someone sets out to be a bad parent. But the truth is, bad parenting can take many forms, and it's often overlooked. We tend to think of it as this extreme, abusive behavior, but in reality, it can be much more subtle. Sometimes it's the little things like consistently dismissing our child's feelings or making them feel like they're never good enough. Other times it's a lack of boundaries or not setting clear expectations. And let's be honest, we've all been guilty of it at some point or another. Another misconception is that bad parenting only happens in certain types of families or households. The truth is, it can happen anywhere, regardless of socioeconomic status, race, or cultural background. We all have our own strengths and weaknesses as parents, and it's how we address those weaknesses that really matters. And then there's the idea that if someone had bad parents themselves, they're doomed to repeat the cycle. While it's true that our upbringing can shape our parenting styles, it's not a guarantee. With self-awareness, effort, and support, we can break those patterns and create a better future for our kids. Lastly, I think we often assume that bad parenting is always easy to spot. But the reality is, it can be hidden behind a mask of love and good intentions. We might think that because someone loves their child, they must be a good parent. But loving our child is only the first step. It's how we express that love, how we show up for our kids, and how we help them develop into capable, confident individuals that really matters. So what does bad parenting really look like? Well, it can look like neglect, not providing for our child's basic needs or leaving them to fend for themselves. It can look like excessive control, not giving our kids the autonomy to make their own decisions or choices. It can look like a lack of emotional support, not validating our child's feelings or helping them develop emotional intelligence. The list goes on, but the point is, bad parenting takes many forms, and it's up to us to recognize the signs. I remember a story about a young girl who grew up with a parent who was always critical and never satisfied with her accomplishments. No matter how hard she tried, she was never good enough. As a result, she struggled with self-doubt and low self-esteem well into adulthood. It wasn't until she started therapy and began to understand the impact of her upbringing that she was able to start rebuilding her confidence and creating a more positive relationship with herself. It's heartbreaking, but it's a powerful reminder of the long-term effects bad parenting can have on a child's future. When we don't provide our kids with the emotional support they need, we're not just affecting their childhood, we're affecting their entire lives. We're shaping their sense of self-worth, their relationships, and their ability to cope with stress and adversity. That's why it's so crucial that we recognize the signs of bad parenting and make a conscious effort to do better. So, to recap, bad parenting is a complex issue that can take many forms and is often overlooked. It's up to us as parents to recognize the signs, take responsibility for our actions, and strive to be better. By doing so, we can break the cycle of bad parenting and create a more positive, supportive environment for our kids to thrive in. Thanks for watching. And if you've had any experiences with bad parenting or have any tips for overcoming it, please share them in the comments below. And if you want to learn more about positive parenting strategies, be sure to check out my next video, where I'll be diving into some practical tips and techniques for raising happy, healthy kids.